One important thing that we need to do when we talk about forces is being able to identify all the forces in a problem properly. So to do that, we are going to follow a few steps. So the first thing that you need to do is identify the object, right? The object that you want to study. So then it is very helpful here to draw a picture of the situation, right? And then make sure that in your picture your object is completely identified. It could help to draw a curve around the object and then look at all the boundaries, things that are touching the object. And then after you've done that, then start thinking of all the forces that are acting on the object. Draw the vectors and label each force. So you need to give a name to each force. So this is a very easy thing to do, but it requires a little bit of practice to get it right all the time. So here's our catalog of forces, right? These are the forces that we know. So a general force we're going to denote by F. So we have the weight, the force due to springs, tensions that are due to rope, normal forces that are due to surfaces, statics and kinetic friction. Static friction is when the object is not moving, friction when the object is not moving. Kinetic friction is that happens when the object is moving. We have a drag, which is the resistance basically, and we have the thrust. Those are the forces that we are most commonly going to be using in this class. So let's just look at an example of how we identify the forces. For instance, we have here a bungee jumper. This is the jumper here. So he is the object. This guy here is the object. So we draw a circle around him. And then we identified all the things that are interacting with him. For instance, we have this rope. And that basically gives you a tension. And we're also going to have the weight. And the weight is the other force. In this case, we only have two forces that we identify properly. Here is another example. So this is a skier that is being pulled up by a rope. So let's identify all the forces here. So the first thing is to identify the object. So it's a skier, right? So then what is there? Well, we have a tension here. That is a force acting on the skier. So we have the weight, right, acting on the skier. And then we are going to have, depending on whether the skier is moving or he's standing there, we're going to have either kinetic friction or static friction. In this case, let's assume that he's moving, so we have kinetic friction. And finally, we have a normal force. So those are the forces, so we can draw them. We have the tension, the weight, the normal force, and the kinetic friction. So identifying forces is very important, because if you miss one force, or if you don't see a force that is acting there, then when you solve your problem, you're going to get the wrong answer.